Well, the pavilions are largely empty, yet the allure of the Inner Harbor continues to draw visitors. And now Baltimore is about to enter the next phase of redeveloping Harbor Place. Voters passed Question F, allowing MCB Realty to move forward with its proposal. And joining us now is Mark Anthony Thomas from the Greater Baltimore Committee. You play a little bit of role in this. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, too.
From the way that I picture it, if things go well at Harbor Place, it sort of reaches out to other areas as well.
It does.
Success.
When you actually look at the broader downtown, there's over $7 billion worth of investment that's been oriented toward making downtown vibrant, attractive, connecting all the assets that exist. Harbor Place was a critical piece of making sure that happens.
I think that people in Baltimore agree on one thing. I think they agree that a change has to happen. I'm finding that the difficulty is how to execute that change. For Greater Baltimore Committee, where do you guys see this project?
You know, the big issue that people had concerns with was housing. And when you look at all the great harbors that have been either revamped over the last few years or have been renovated that were maybe blighted places before, having that residential population is critical. And so it's new for our Harbor Place, but part of why it's in the conditions it's in is that the concentration of commercial was too dominant. And so you need to have that 24-hour activity, and that's really was one of the biggest issues that people had concerns with. But it passed overwhelmingly.
And when you look at some of the pictures, I think some of the concern was green space. And when I look at the pictures, I see green space. Were you guys sort of satisfied that we sort of kept the character of the area, but also went towards the future as well?
It is, and when you actually think about it, the actual broader waterfront area has growth in green space, has development plans that are in the works that are going to continue to add to what's already in place. And so you have to really think about it as a much larger footprint than just the Harbor Place pavilions. And what it does now is really anchor miles of what Baltimore will have as a dominant dynamic waterfront.
I think it's impressive, and I spoke to Z Cohen a little bit about this. You see pockets of business owners deciding that this is the right spot for me, just Baltimore downtown in general. Are you noticing that, and what do you think needs to continue to keep that fire lit?
For one, we have to be more aggressive in how we market the city and the region, right? As a market for activity, you see the success of the arena. I mean, it's one of the most successful arenas in the world now. To me, that is a proof point of a market that if you have investment and you have the right type of catalytic projects, it can take off. And the redevelopment of Harbor Place will be another win for the region when it's up and running.
Another thing you'll see in regions, you see it in DC a lot, the conventions that come there. I mean, all you see is people with tags, name tags, walking around town because they're at a convention. Are we at where we want to be when we're inviting people to spend that week for whatever their convention is? And if not, what do we need to do?
Not yet. So I serve on the governor's task force to actually determine what we do with the convention center. Right? And so the convention center needs a major overhaul. And when you think about once that's completed, you have a new Harbor Place, you have renovations of both of our stadiums. We actually become an even more dynamic place for tourists to come and ultimately either want to move here or invest here, right? And so all of this stuff works together, and the plans that are in place with Downtown Rise and the business leadership that's really been active in shaping the future, we'll be in a good place.
So step one is done. Now we'll see what follows.
That's correct.
Mark, good to see you, man.
Good to see you,
Thanks
too.
for coming by.
Great, thank you.